The outer surface of the kidney is known as the
Capsule.
capsule. Then this outer portion here is called the cortex. And then the middle is called the medulla. Now, these individual one things that looks like triangles or pyramids, they're called renal pyramids. A renal lobe is what? Cortex and medulla all together. So a lobe will be covering the whole structure. I try not to ask that one. Okay, it's really confusing. So you have a lot of structures in there. So let's do it by sections instead of by structure. So in the cortex, what are the things that I can ask you? You can have the cortical radiating arteries, which are the straight ones that goes to the cortex. You can have the arcuate arteries. Okay. So here you have to be really careful. If I ask you, what are the vessels, then you answer arteries. If you're only going to have a question that has an arrow from here to here, then that is the cortex. Okay? Now, this one, this blood vessel in here is called the interlobal artery. If it's blue, whatever, blue, right? We just paint. From there, let me just go into this same stuff at the level of the cortex. So this here it would be the cortex. Here would be the medulla. Right. Same thing that we're doing here. So at the level of the cortex, we're going to have the cortical radiating arteries, the arcuate arteries or whatever veins. Within here you have A and efferents. So the afferents and efferents, I think this one is a lot better. Sorry, let me look for. So here we have afferents and efferent. The afferent, remember, they were thicker, and the efferent were thinner. Okay, so pretty much they enter here at the Bowman's capsule, and they form the glomerulus. Both glomerulus and Bowman's capsule is called the renal corpuscle. So at the level of the renal corpuscle, there are two structures which are close by. First one is proximal convoluted tubule, and that one is distal convoluted tubule. At the level of the distal convoluted tubules, you're going to have one type of cell. They're called macula densa cells. These macula densa cells are going to produce, come on, ADH, antidiuretic hormone. So in these cells right here, around the afferent arteriole, we're going to have another type of cells which are called, well, it's actually apparatus, so it's juxtaglomerular apparatus. The juxtaglomerular apparatus is going to carry a cell known as, a hormone that is going to be produced there. What is the name of the hormone? Your kidneys only produce two things there. Well, only produces one thing at that level. So that would be renin-angiotensin aldosterone, remember? So renin-angiotensin-aldosterone system at the juxtaglomerular apparatus. So if I ask you for a hormone here, ADH. If I ask you for a hormone here, renin. Okay? If you want to put angiotensin-aldosterone, great. Okay? Renin. Okay. So, from there, okay. So we have afferents, efferents. At this level, you're going to have two types of capillaries. One of them are going to call peritubular capillaries or vasa recta. Remember, peritubular or vasa recta. Okay? These ones are going to be proximal, and that is orange. Right? Yeah. And then proximal, and then you have descending loop, ascending loop of Henle, distal convoluted tubule, collecting duct, which is yellow. Okay? So from there, I think we're done. Oh, the same stuff here. What is the green stuff? The renal corpuscle. If I ask you only what is the outside, then the Bowman's capsule, or what is it, glomerular capsule? Okay. So urine urine is going to be produced from at the level of the nephron. Then it's pretty much going to end up the collecting duct. So when it ends up the collecting duct, it pretty much ends at this level right here. So collecting duct. What are these things called? What is this thing called? Renal papilla. So from the renal papilla, it goes into this chamber. That chamber is this thing right here, minor callus. So minor callus, two minors goes into one major, and all majors enters or drains into the renal pelvis. So there's two things that can be confused: the renal pelvis and this thing, which is three-dimensional. Remember, everything that enters, everything that has arteries, veins, and ducts, hilum, right? So this will be the renal hilum. Okay. So from the renal pelvis, it goes into the ureter, and the ureter, you have two ureters, right and left, which you need to know which was right and which was left. Please notice that that's the pubis symphysis. Pubis symphysis is always on the front. If it's on your back, then it's not yours. It's somebody else's. Okay, so before you look at the model, first thing you're going to look is for the pubis symphysis. If it's like that, then you know it's opposite. You can move it. You cannot move it. Okay? So, the two ureters, right, they end up pretty much, they connect to the urinary bladder. So, right here at that level. So, when they enter the urinary bladder, you flip it over, you're going to have letter number 40s here, which are ureteric openings. These are the two round things here. So these ureteric openings are at the top of the trigone. So remember that in order for urination to take place, the trigone must be relaxed. This pocketing or these folds in here, they're called what? So the rugae. So rugae, again, this is the the trigone. From here you have the prostatic urethra. That is the prostate. This is the prostate gland. And finally we have the urethra, okay? Which then we're going to talk about. So this is part of the male. So these white tubes are going to be the vas deferens or ductus deferens. This is going to be the seminal vesicles or seminal glands. And again, that's the prostate. In males, we have in the prostate, again, prostatic urethra, and in the prostate you also have ejaculatory duct. The ejaculatory duct is where the, I know this one model had it, this one doesn't, with the seminal vesicles, right, pretty much secrete, and the vas deferens, they all secrete in the ejaculatory duct. Again, that is the prostatic urethra. Then this portion of the urethra is called the membranous urethra. Okay, and this portion, it will be the spongy or penile urethra, right? So three portions of the urethra. Female only has a tiny urethra versus the male. So now, in the portion of the male here, in the male penis, we have this portion, which is called what? The red stuff. Corpus spongiosum. We only have how many corpus spongiosum? One. The corpus spongiosum surrounds the urethra and maintains the urethra open. Okay, even during erection. This portion right here is called the corpora cavernosa. You have two corpora cavernosas. Okay, these are the ones that fill with blood. Through parasympathetic, you have erection. Through sympathetic is where you have ejaculation. Now, the portion of the penis, right? The end portion is called the glans of the penis. Okay, the skin around it is going to be called the prepuce. Okay, extenourethra meatus. Now, this portion right here is called the testes. The testes is going to be surrounded by two layers, tunica buccinea and tunica vaginalis. Okay. Now, these tunics, what they do is they protect the testes. Also, the testes are going to contain two muscles: the cremaster and the dartos muscle. The cremaster is the one that allows the testes to get close or far away from the body, because remember, in able to produce spermatocytes or sex cells, these things needs to be from 1 to 3 degrees below male body temperature. So on the outermost portion, we have the scrotum. Okay. So hopefully, well, I don't think it is, or it is. I don't know. I'm not sure. So somewhere around there, right? That's the other portion. Here, I'm just gonna go back now. Here, this thing right here, that you see here, that is the vas deferens. This thing here on the top, that will be the ureter. Okay? Right or left?
Right.
Right. Okay, so ureter and vas deferens. Okay? This thing is going to be what? Iliac artery, guys. Iliac artery. If it's red, it's iliac, right? Around the iliac. Okay.
It's pink, but it's a continuation of the...
Oh yeah, because you have the peritoneum. Okay. So please notice that this portion is the next portion here. So again, the same thing. That's the vas deferens or ductus deferens. Here's what I was going to show you. That's the seminal vesicle.